Good morning, AM Lockport. Welcome to our AM Lockport Toastmasters Club meeting. Members and guests, welcome. If everyone would please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Are there any announcements to be brought before the club before I introduce the Toastmaster of the day? Kate has an announcement. Kate, welcome. Good morning.
Thank you so much, Mr. Vice President of Membership. I have an announcement about our picnic. It is 3 Thursdays away. We just have 3 more Thursdays here in person. Can you believe it? It's Saturday, the last Saturday of June. But that means we have 3 more in-person hybrid meetings until, reminder, we switch all of July, all of August to Zoom only. Mary is handing around on the clipboard the sign up for the picnic potluck so we don't have 10 pans of Rice Krispie treats. There is a wish list on there to go along with the rib cook-off that we're having, and super excited about that. So again, reminder, check your email for the save the dates. There's quite a lot of kind of summary save the dates, upcoming important details. Back to you, Mr. Vice President of Membership.
Thank you. And Speechathon is this Saturday. The information is on the district website. Anyone else? Any other announcements? Please help me welcome our Toastmaster of the day, Maggie Craig. Maggie, welcome. Good morning.
Thank you, Marty. You got my stool out for me. Such a nice guy. Well, I just want to say to Len and Mark, your favorite modulator is here. Modulator. And on that note, I know you would all be very disappointed if you came to this meeting today and I didn't do this. Summertime and the living is easy. Not. Anybody else? Come on. And the cotton is high. Thank you. I'll start this meeting by letting you know who is with us today. Mark Campos, Darcy Colby, Sylvia Baptiste, Gerald. I know your last name, Gerald, but you cannot read it on this. Gerald Stephens, Mike Florio. I can also not read Mike. Mike Lutt, Maggie Craig, Carol Halstead, Dave Licata, both of you. Do you not know how to spell your name? Oh, Zach Finney, James Sacco, Kate Orr, Mary Carvanero, Beth Banks, Bridget Newton. And on Zoom, we have Margot, Phil, Les, Nancy, David Jones, Sam, and Larry. Did I miss anyone? No? All present and accounted for. I was young when I went to a party once and very few people showed up. And my friend said, everybody who is supposed to be here is here. And there we go. The theme today, before I give you my theme today, why don't I invite our inspirator up to give us a little inspiration to get us started.
Can't come up there.
Nancy Ferry, we have some reverb.
Yes.
You're on mute. Nancy, you're on mute. Oh, we're working on it. Oh, there you go.
Yeah. I'm on here twice. How do I sign out? One.
Go ahead.
Oh, thank you. All right. Do we have a theme this morning?
We do have a theme this morning. Summertime and the living is easy. Question mark.
Ooh, okay. Question mark is the big one, right? So this morning's theme is summertime. Great speakers don't just share words, they create experiences. As we move through the meeting, listen to how each speaker brings this theme to life in their own unique way. This is your space to try, to learn, and to succeed. In Toastmasters, we don't fear mistakes. We use them as stepping stones. Let us begin a meeting full of energy, encouragement, and growth. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Nancy. I also think that I will call up our word master. Is Stephen here? Are you on Zoom, Stephen? Okay. Well, you know what? What is that word we talked about? Oh, we had a great word today, and it's a perfect word for today. So if Stephen doesn't mind, and if he comes, maybe we'll have two words, but we will choose the word tickety-boo. It's just tickety-boo. This word is a word that needs no definition. We all know what it means. And now Kate has learned a new word. It's just tickety-boo. Fresh salad, a little horseradish for my burger, perhaps on some fresh oysters. Simple. At least that's my plan. But somehow summer never stays simple. One tomato becomes dozens, one horseradish becomes a 6x10 horseradish forest. A few vegetables become sauce, salsa, tomato pucks, green tomato chow chow, a freezer full of butternut squash, chopped, sauteed, you name it. I've done it to butternut squash. And somewhere along the way, I'm considering an oyster shack and maybe putting in a swimming pool. Which got me thinking, maybe summertime isn't easy. Maybe summertime is about making the most of the precious time that we have. Because, we only get so many summers. So I would like to start today by introducing, I suppose we've already started. I would like to continue today by introducing the people who are going to make our meeting great. Our Master, David Jones.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, and good morning, fellow Toastmasters. As the Master, I will be listening for our filler words such as so, words that I'm very familiar with, and I'll report on them when called upon. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you. And now I'll call upon our grammarian, Darcy Colby.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. My job today is to point out exceptional and poor uses of grammar and everything in between. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Darcy. I did think she pointed at me when she said poor uses. I'm not going to take that personally, although maybe I should. Our quote master, Zach Finney. Zach, will you please come up and give us your quote? Morning.
Morning. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters. This morning, I have a quote that I'd like to share from one of my past mentors when I was in personal training and getting into holistic health. The quote is this: if you do it more than once, you're practicing, and whatever you practice, you get good at. And so that's a quote to just point us to audit the habits and behaviors that we are accumulating, such as the ums, the ahs, which is why we're here to fix some of those bad habits. And if you do it more than once, you're practicing. Thank you.
And Oh, I'm looking forward to this because I was like a good laugh. Our jester, Mike Licata.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. When I looked for jokes for this morning, I kind of went simpler and actually ended up doing a couple of retirement jokes. I used to have a handle on life, but then it broke off. What do you call someone who enjoys Mondays? Retired. What's the key to a perfectly structured retirement? A rigid nap schedule. And when's the best time to think about retirement? 5 minutes before your boss. Madam Toastmaster.
Oh, thank you. Hope you can, you can read that. Tickety boo. Don't forget to use the word of the day. Tickety boo. That is just tickety boo. After our jester, we will invite our timer. Sam, are you, I can't see you on the screen, but oh, there you are. Good morning, Sam.
Good morning. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. As timer, I will be timing table topics, formal speeches, and evaluations. Table topics should be 1 to 2 minutes, formal speeches 5 to 7, and evaluations 2 to 3 minutes. And I have some construction papers that I'll use. Thank you.
Thank you. Phil Russell, our quiz master.
Okay. I think I'm unmuted.
You are?
I am. Okay. As quizmaster, I will be asking several questions at the end of the meeting about what people said. So put your hearing ears on. And I asked somebody to stay at the lectern when I'm asking so that I can hear what the audience of Toastmasters say. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Phil. I'll do my best to be your eyes and ears and mouth for your quiz. Our table topics master, that will take us to table topics. But before we go on to table topics, maybe I'll say a few words after I poke my eye out. One of the first lessons I learned as a gardener is that things rarely go according to plan. Weather changes, deer arrive. We started out with, it took us to our third summer to be able to grow anything because we thought we had the deer licked every time and we did not. They got through. And now we have a compound with wire fencing up 8 feet around. We built a paddock with a gate. You can't get in. I can almost not get in. So the deer saved our, last year we had such an amazing garden, so much. Plants grow where you don't expect them to. I had my butternut squash extending all the way down my driveway last year. I had about 100 butternut squash. Please see me at the end of the summer. I will be giving them away again. And success depends on how well you adapt. Let's begin the meeting by meeting. Oh, no, I am so sorry. To help us think on our feet and respond to the unexpected, please welcome our table topics master, Sylvia Batiste.
Spontaneous speeches. I love table topics. Crazy, isn't it? And don't forget to use tickety-boo, the word of the day. I love it. That's a different word. Summer, we have long days. That gives the mind and the greater sense of possibility. With the sun staying out after the typical work hours, for the people who are still working, sorry, got to end that soon. People naturally feel more relaxed and foster socialization walks, and outdoor activities. Jim, I would like to ask you this question. Do you do something only in the summer and not during the other times of the year? Jim Sacco. Morning.
Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Do I do something during the summer and not any other time of the year? Well, planning weddings. Okay. I had my daughter Anne Marie's wedding in 2018, the summer of 2018, my daughter Andrea in 2019. Thank God it was right before COVID. And we just got through my daughter Jessica's wedding. And Tiki Boo, I mean, there's so much fun. It's amazing. And I want to thank my fellow Toastmasters for helping me to refine my speaking ability because I was confident the first two times, and I did give a very good speech, but this one was fantastic. I mean, there were things that you brought up about pregnant pauses. I should have more pauses in my speeches, and also vocal variety was a big part of something that was missing. Me being Italian, I would always speak at high volumes and what have you, but I did use vocal variety in my speech, and it was great. I started off by thanking all the friends and family, of course, and then talk about as a father, this is what we did, Jessica. We enrolled you in DeSales. I mean, you copied your sister Anne Marie, you got into dance, and like your sister Andrea, you got into swimming and what have you. And then I talked about my father, her grandfather. And that was good because it was very emotional. I said, hey, I'm wearing his watch. He was inducted in the Wall of Fame last year. And it was fantastic. And I had people crying that time. Then there was then I started talking about her experience at West Virginia University, about singing Country Roads. We sang Country Roads at her induction. We sang Country Roads at her graduation and at every football game that we ever went to. Then I invited her friends to Sunset Bay, where we have our cottage. First summer we had it in 2020. They all went to the bar and sang Country Roads. That made an impression on everybody of us. And it was a fantastic time. I want to, it ended up being a great speech, and it was something that, as I said, I learned how to use my table topics when I'm Toastmaster.
Thank you. I'm going to wander into Zoom land. Larry McKenzie, I saw your name earlier. You still on? Yes. People's mood levels increase during the summer due to the sunshine that we're supposed to have. I'm looking outside. It doesn't look too sunny today, but it's going to. People should be happier. Vitamin D kicks in. Do you see people's mood increase, or does your mood increase during the summer months? Larry McKenzie.
Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master. My mood during the summer definitely does increase to a jubilant range, I do think, because of the fact that I'm able to do more because I'm very active throughout the summer. Maggie had mentioned earlier in regards to her garden. We had some fun experiences last year. I built a beautiful garden out here at our camp, and I think the animals loved it more than we did because the deer and I do believe some rabbits and some other animals had quite the feast. My Brussels sprouts, they loved those, and they even ate some of my tomato plants. So this year, I decided everything was going to be tickety-boo here at my camp, and I have taken steps to basically, I guess you would say, animal-proof my garden. Have I had success with that? No. Partially, I have, but I'm working on it, and I think that possibly by the end of this summer, we should actually have a harvest of some vegetables, maybe enough for at least a meal out of 20, 30 plants that I have out here. But the summer is a wonderful time for me, and I noticed that you see so many people doing so many different activities throughout the summer. And I think that that cabin fever of the winter goes away and everything is tickety-boo everywhere we go. Madam Table Topics Master, I appreciate the opportunity to speak this morning, and I'm going to send it right back to you.
Thank you, Larry. So in Western New York, you only have 120 days of summer officially. And hopefully we'll get those 120 days in this year. Beth Banks, I'm going to ask you the next question. Outdoor activities do increase during the summer and relaxation does too. What do you do to relax during this 120 days of summer? Beth Banks.
I would say there are two things that I do. Gardening is relaxing to me. I know some people consider it a job, but it's relaxing. But I also love to swim without the camera, as I talked about last week. But I do love to swim. Our pool should be ready maybe tomorrow, just in time for the weather to cool off. It has to happen. But that nice heater that we bought last year can boost the temperatures up a little. I've been a swimmer, not a professional, not a, in school, they didn't have a swimming pool when I went to school. But since I was 5, my grandparents got an in-ground pool. And I think that's really developed my love of swimming. My grandfather taught me how to swim, how to backstroke, all that. So it's just an enjoyable, relaxing thing for me to do. And one of my dogs loves to swim with us. So that's always fun. Thank you very much. Oh, and tickety boo, I have to admit, I've never heard that word, so I'm not sure how to use it, but I can just say, yes, my summers are tickety boo.
So now I'm going to ask for a timers report. Sam, how did our 3 contestants do?
All 3 qualified. Jim just squeaked by at 214 with the buffer. Larry at 148 and Beth at 126. Madam Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Sam. And I did hear all 3 of the contestants use the word tickety-boo today. Back to Maggie.
I am glad that we are all participating as the word of the day master. Thank you, Sylvia. So my sweet million tomatoes. How many everybody has a form of sweet million tomatoes. I mean, if you garden, the little tiny ones that you put in your salad, or you just eat like candy and give to your grandkids in a little bowl and they pop them in their mouth and you worry if they're going to choke on them. Or I do, because I always worry. Why not worry? I'm a grandma. My sweet million started as a pot of tomatoes on my patio. It was just a little patio pot. But I found out something about tomatoes. If you plant tomatoes way up the stem, deep, 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 almost to the very, very top branches, all along the stem, they will grow more and more roots and you'll get a stronger plant. And with a stronger plant, you're going to get more tomatoes. So if you want more tomatoes, I had so many tomatoes, hundreds of pounds of tomatoes. Why would I plant them deep? And yet I planted 12 of them deep in my garden this year. Well, different tomatoes, not all millions, but yeah. So again, if anybody would like some sauce at the end of the summer, please come see me. There's 2 of us in my home, so we'll have lots. I learned that Growth often begins with small ideas. And today, our speakers will share ideas that have grown into speeches. I will introduce our first evaluator who will take on the role of introducing our first speaker. So our first evaluator is Marty Johnson, and he will be evaluating Mike Florio.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day. Mike Florio is working on the Presentation Mastery Path, Level 3. It's an elective. Connect with your audience. Time is 5 to 7 minutes. Madam Timer. And the purpose of the speech is for Mike to practice the skills needed to connect with an unfamiliar audience. The title of the speech is Captain, We Need More Power. Captain, we need more power. Mike Florio.
Thanks, Marty. Fellow Toastmasters, good morning this morning. In my hand is a piece of mail that strikes fear and panic in my heart. It's not anything from the IRS. It's not anything from my attorney. It's my NYSEG bill. It's not opened yet. But when I get home, I'll probably open it. There'll be some tears shed. I'll curl up in a little ball and, maybe need a nap. But it drives me a little crazy. It's a tickety-boo for me, that we pay so much for power in this country. So what do we do about it? I mean, really, we just get angry about it. NYSEG is a monopoly, right? They own the power. But there is something that we can do about it. I mean, it'll take some time, but it's an idea, right? It's just an idea at this point. And that's solar. Solar power is the fastest growing energy source in the last 20 years. And it's growing more and more. Solar costs have gone down 90% since 2009. It's getting cheaper and cheaper to use solar in our country. May of this year, solar usage surpassed coal usage. So it's actually surpassing fossil fuels. And there's zero emissions, there's no greenhouse gases, there's no toxic pollutants, no water usage like coal and nuclear. It's just photo cells, right? It's the sun, and the sun, well, as long as it keeps rising, we'll have infinite power. It lowers and eliminates your electric bill. My neighbor down the street, well, he has solar panels on his home, and it saves him a fortune. 10 years ago, I thought Larry was crazy. What are you doing? You're putting these panels all over the top of your roof. And now 10 years have gone by, and he pays 50 cents to NYSEG, and he sells his extra power back to them during the summertime. And now in New York State, you get 10% back on your power, right? Now, our friends to the north, they get everything they sell back to the grid, they get 100%. So there's something there that we could go to Mrs. Hochul there and say, hey, come on now, come up with the cash, right? You want to save the world, right? Why don't you just, reach into your pocket a little bit and help us out? It's about break-even proposition after 10 years if you have solar power, which is not a bad deal for the younger people. I mean, it's really the way you kind of need to go in order to, in order to fight back just a little bit. Elon Musk said, you could power the entire United States with about 150 to 200 square kilometers of solar panels. That's the entire United States that you could power. The largest amount of solar panels are in the Mojave Desert, 1,000 acres, and they power a lot. Now, if there was an ugly contest, all right, you would want your solar panels in the middle of the desert. I don't know which one would win, right? Would it be solar panels or those ugly windmills that seem to be popping up all over the place when you're driving through the countryside? But, you know, I get it. You're trying to save the planet, so you're doing what you can. That's where Scotty, it's actually Scotty, you know, it's not Captain, but I did this last night. You know, you got to give me a little break. It's like Scotty, Captain, we need more power. Scotty, we need more power. So maybe, you know, they're saying that possibly by 2050, solar power might be the way we go. And wouldn't that be wonderful? China's number one. We're number three. I don't even know who number two is. But I want to try and maybe, oh, how much time do I have? Is that green, yellow, or what is that one? It's green? Oh, good. I have a little time left. That's good. I want this club to be the first Toastmaster club to maybe go all solar. I've been talking to Len about it, and I know he's giving, you know, Len's a tough case, but I have a unit that powers that came from the sun, and it, you know, it's really cool to be able to even plug in a light bulb and you go, wow, you know what? I didn't have to go to NYSEG for that. I powered it from my solar panels in the backyard. And all of a sudden I have light. I've made power. Yeah. So wind, solar, hydro, geothermal, landfill gas, there are alternatives, right? And we can use some of these alternatives, you know, and maybe someday we won't have to rely on fossil fuel. And maybe someday there won't be wars for oil, right? We could focus on other things in the world, peace, feeding our country, things that are probably much more important than oil. So here comes the sun, do 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 do. Here comes the sun, and I say it's all right, Madam Toastmaster.
I won't be here for very long, so I'll just tip this down. I would like to introduce our second evaluator, Mary Carbonero, who's going to be introducing our next speaker, Gerald Stevens.
Dr. Gerald's project is Presentary Mastery Level 3, Connect with your audience. His purpose of this project is for the member to practice skills needed to connect with an unfamiliar audience. His time is 5 to 7 minutes, and his title is America's Best Idea, Dr. Gerald.
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters. No guests today. America's best idea is national parks, according to Ken Burns. And I am on a quest to get to all the national parks, 63 of them, motivated initially by Katie. She put the idea in my head, and forever thankful for that. Thank you. And I tend to go to a couple every summer. I've been waiting the whole year to do the speech. Last summer, we went way up north, really far up north in Minnesota, the land of 10,000 lakes. It's so far up there, if I put it in GPS, it'd be like, what the heck you doing, buddy? and it's pretty remote. Some national parks, though, are very touristed, to be fair. But the ones I've been going to lately are not so much, and that's kind of nice to a point because there's not a lot of things there sometimes, facilities. This one is I don't go way in the outback anymore. I find a nice lodge to hang out in. So that is my goal there. Land at 10,000 lakes. So Voyageurs National Park. You think lakes, right? For Minnesota? Well, there are quite a few. And Voyageurs National Park is named after voyageurs. They're French Canadian. And what they did back in the day is they went through the waters. They would paddle 14 hours a day in these massive canoes. And they would take furs and goods down the waterways. So that is why it was named after them. I can't imagine doing that myself. I mean, you could think of them with their first UPS, maybe. I don't know, back in the day. But it is what it is. Was a little drama, though, before I went, about 3 or 4 months. I tore completely my right ACL. So this has been planned for a whole year. If anybody knows my wife, she plans things three years in advance. So in the end, I'm like, how am I going to get on this plane? How am I going to do it? So I'm hobbling around and I get there and I'm like, oh, I get in and I'm like, oh, I can barely put my knee and bend my knee. And I'm like, oh, it's all tickety boo. All's good in the world. So I was able to get on the plane. Yay. So we get to the park. Since it is mostly a water park, 40% water, over 200,000 acres, by the way, you have to take a boat ride to get around. Okay. So we got 2 guides. The first guide was a young guy, full of energy. He just likes to get out on the water, ride in the boat. He likes to slam on that gas. And we're bouncing around, just getting splashed the whole time. Feels amazing, by the way, because it's summertime. But he kind of knew where things were. That's why you hire a guide. So we have a guide, and he's kind of slows down. And then he stops. And it pauses. He goes real quiet. He says, look up there in the tree. Way up there, see that massive nest? That's a bald eagle up there. But I say really quietly, it's got brown feathers on its head. How is that a bald eagle? And he said the juvenile bald eagles don't get the feathers turned white until 3 years old. So I learned something. But these guys know where everything are. Second guide we had is a grizzled veteran. He's been through the wars. He remembers back past 1975 when this park was established. The old days. He's like, yeah, that island there, that's where my father would go and get drunk. They they had a bar on that island. They don't have it anymore. He was so upset. His dad did drunk drive the boat, but that's another story. You remember that as a small child. But they had other islands too. They had an island Ellsworth Island, where they had 10,000 lily bulbs planted and a stone garden. And they had all these immigrants come in from all over the place and establish there in the middle of nowhere. And they would fish and have subsistent life there. So it was kind of cool. There was one island, it was called Stevenson Island. I'm like, Stevenson Island? Maybe I'll block the picture a little bit and it'll be Stevens Island. My island. I've always wanted an island. So I stole his island. Stevenson, it's pretty close, right? Both the tours ended up in a place called Kettle Falls. It's not a very big falls. And the second picture you see there, I handed out today, that's us on the dais there where we could take a look at the nice scenery in the back. And the first one was, of course, of a boat ride to get there. Kettle Falls had 2 things that were really amazing. They had a place to eat lunch. So they had a nice restaurant. Very good. And they had a bar. So, and I am a fan of some libations, as you may or may not know. So nothing like, a hot summer day, we're having a cold, frosty mug of beer. It was pretty cool. They had a tilted floor, though. It was a defect in the bar. So you're literally sideways like this, walking up the bar. And they had a pool table. Let me tell you, playing pool on a tilted bar is not easy. But of course, you have to do it because it's kind of cool that it's there. So it's like a tourist attraction, supposedly. Hotel in the middle of nowhere, only accessible by a boat. So that's unique. So the guides took us everywhere. But on the way back from the second trip, as you can see in a picture, I came across a giant walleye with a saddle on it. And I'm like, I should probably climb up this thing. I have a bad knee. Is this a good idea? What do you think? Torn ACL? Hey, what the heck? I never claimed to be smart. So I climb up on this thing. My wife's like, you're going to die, literally. And it's high. And I get up there and I'm like, woo-hoo. But this was prompted by the past, which you see in the fourth picture, a place called Wall Drug that has the mythical jackalope, which is a rabbit and with deer horns. And that is in the middle of South Dakota. So apparently my wife is now on this mission to find all these types of things that I could possibly get up on around the country. So one day when we get a van, we're going to travel all around there. So I encourage you all to go to national parks. It is definitely a good experience. Enjoy the night. Enjoy the beauty. Madam Toastmaster.
I'm going to introduce our last evaluator, who will introduce our last speaker. Our last evaluator is Les Robinson. He will be evaluating Margot Bittner, both of whom are online. So take it over, Les.
Thank you, Maggie. Margot is a DTM. She's going to be doing from Pathways Strategic Relationships. And the speech is, you can do it, 5 to 7 minutes. The purpose is to inspire people and the audience. And I know Margot can do that.
Thank you very much, Les. I appreciate that. As everyone here probably knows, I'm in the Barker Lions. And after COVID, we had 52 members. We are now pushing 80 members. And over the past few weeks, I've been listening to people in the Toastmasters group wondering how we can get new members. So I'd like to tell you a few of the things that we've done, and then you can take what you want, take a piece of it, and you can do what we did in Lions. The number one thing we do is we have matching clothing. Now, I know we have our shirts with that new logo and the phrase that stabs at my grammarian's heart because it does end with a preposition, but we do more than just shirts. We do hats. Now, you might say, does a hat with a Lions logo do anything? Last February, we had a family event in Schenectady. And while we were there, we went to the Cornell Union hockey game because, of course, I had to go watch my alma mater get beat and listen to the band. But as we're walking in, I'm wearing this Lions hat that I just had on that's very warm. And somebody walked up to me and said, "Are you a Lion?" I said, "Yes." "Are you?" "Well, I'm thinking about it. There's a club near me." We got into a whole discussion about what Lions was, and I'm hoping they join the club near their home. We also have jackets. We have baseball caps. We have scarves. So I would encourage you to look at the Toastmasters website and see what you can wear out in public to proclaim that you are a Toastmaster, just like we do with our Lions Club. The other thing our club started doing was putting regular articles in the newspaper. Now, you've probably gathered I write most of them. However, if somebody else does something, they go for it. We installed a ramp for a veteran. Somebody took a picture, explained what it was, listed all the names, sent it into the paper, and they could see how we as Lions serve, because we serve. So we put all these different articles together on a regular basis. Now, you might tell me, well, newspapers are dying. Why would you bother with the newspaper? First of all, you have to hit the population you want to reach, but then you take that newspaper article and you copy it to your Facebook page. You copy it to your Instagram. You put it on your LinkedIn page. And if every member of the club went to the Facebook page and shared whatever we're doing, you'd be amazed at what the reach is. The other thing with putting it on social media sites is that it's not just your friends that are seeing it. It actually, the more you put it, the better the algorithm, and it increases from there. We also, after every meeting, put pictures up of what went on. So last month we played bingo. And if you go to the Barker Lions page, you'll see us all playing bingo. And somebody will say, "Oh, I know that person. They're a lion. Maybe I should talk to them about it." And it's seeing the repetition, seeing the number of pages. The other thing we do is, because we've seen that, is we wear our pins out in public. So I have a Lions pin. I've got my Toastmasters pin. I actually have a Toastmasters past president pin. But what I do is I wear it upside down. I know that sounds foolish, but when you are wearing a pin upside down, there's somebody who's going to walk up to you and say, your pin's upside down. And I, of course, say, "Oh, I know. This is my Lions pin. This is my Toastmasters pin. This is my Wine Trail pin," whatever it happens to be. And I have an elevator speech ready to go to tell them what the organization is. "Have you heard of us? This is what we do. We welcome everyone to come." And I have elevator speeches for Lions, for Toastmasters, for my winery, for the Wine Trail, and for Farm Bureau. So I have 5 ready to go and attract the person to come in. Now, these are all very simple ideas that we don't have to put the burden on our PR person. We don't have to put the burden on our membership person. Everybody can take a turn at doing all of these different things. So I encourage you to think about the ideas I've given you. Do R&D, rip off and duplicate. Take the ideas you want, change the ideas you don't, but come back with another idea. Take them and let them blossom, and let's see how far we can let our club grow. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Margot. So I wanted to just tell you what tickety-boo meant, since I'm so surprised that it is a new word for so many people. Tickety-boo, maybe it, my Canadian roots, maybe it's a Canadian thing. And we all know that Bridget's got a little Canadian in her too. So tickety-boo means everything is fine, in good order, working properly, or going smoothly. Don't worry, it's tickety-boo now. The surgery went well and Ruth is tickety-boo. However, probably if you look up the word fine in the dictionary, it would give a very positive definition. But you can say fine, meaning not fine. Just if you're married, if your wife says it's fine, I'll leave it at that. And I'm a wife. I say that from this side of the fence. Okay. So, 4 years ago, I planted one very small that I bought at Home Depot in the garden section horseradish plant. Probably shouldn't have done very well. Surprisingly, their plants are pretty good because I now have a field of horseradish. I could supply a restaurant in Lockport. If anybody knows a restaurant that needs horseradish, I have their annual amount. I'll even pickle it for them if they want. Uh, so now I have enough to go around. It's amazing what can grow when given time and attention, and the same's true of speakers. Our evaluators now help us understand what flourished this morning and where even more growth is possible. We're going to switch the order a little bit in terms of evaluations, and we're going to ask Les Robinson to evaluate Margot first. Les? Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't get a timer's report. So Les, if I might interrupt you before you even start, let's have the timer's report.
Okay. All 3 qualified. Mike came in at 6:46, Gerald at 7:20, and Margot at 4:59. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Sam. And did anybody keep track of the tickety-boos in there? And did they all use it? We didn't hear Margot. Margot, raise your hand if you, no, she said, I did not say it. You did not hear it. Okay, good. I think you qualify anyway. I don't think we care. Yes. Okay, Les, over to you.
Before I get started, just to remind everybody, if you we're gonna have the July 3rd, 4th of July party at my house at 7 o'clock, send an email. So now I'm going to get started on the review of Margot on her speech today, and which I enjoyed. It was Margot is very, when she does something, she does it to the full ability. She thinks outside of the box. And I also did see her Facebook post about the dairy farm. So I do watch you on Facebook, Margot. Your clarity was incredible, like always. So you're a DTM, I'm a DTM. We are both very clear. Vocal variety, right off the Richter scale, totally good to go. Eye contact, same as me. We're on video, so it's a little harder to have eye contact. Your gestures were controlled in the picture, which I thought was incredible. Audience awareness. I have done similar things with this for the speech, and I think you went to a next level. I think when you put the hat on was incredible. I like that. I also liked about the clothing, the articles, the Facebook, everything you talked about was 100%. Comfortability, you were like right off the Richter scale. Interest, you fully engaged the audience and the topic. Now, I will say one thing is that when you were presenting yourself, you should have had the Toastmaster pin upside down and pointing to that. That's the only recommendation I can give you on your speech. The rest of it was incredible. You knew exactly what you were doing. I would also, I think the hat was what tied everything together. We're in the middle of summer, muggy 90-degree weather, and you're putting a hat on. Unless you're down in Barker and it's nice and cool down there, being on the lake. I'm not exactly sure. But overall, an excellent speech. And once again, you really got the point across through a wide spectrum how to promote Toastmasters. Great job.
Thank you, Les. And now I will call on our first evaluator, Marty Johnson, who will evaluate Mike Florio.
Your drink. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. And Mike, excellent speech. I like how you engaged us with your prop right from the get-go. You did 3 good things right from the beginning that you excelled at. You had a prop, you engaged us, and you kept us in suspense. Not like this, but you had it turned so we couldn't tell what it was. So that engaged us. What does this guy have? What's going on here? And it was an unopened nice egg bill, something we could all relate to. Secondly, you had statistics and relatable examples that, like your neighbor installed roof panels, it was a problem with high energy bills. So your neighbor combated that and he installed roof panels to help him save some money. And third, the other thing you excelled at, you had good vocal variety throughout the speech, and especially with the Star Wars, the quote you said, Scotty, we need more power. A couple times you engaged us with the vocal variety. A couple things to work on to improve the speech. I heard you explain the advantages, which were great. I would have liked to have heard you tell us a little bit more in your research about the disadvantages. That way, perhaps the audience could make an informed decision, a better decision, or react to your speech or go out and, hey, maybe I'll get these panels. They have more advantages and disadvantages. I heard you ask for time during your speech. Ideally, you should know whereabouts we are during the speech, which main point you're at, and in the ideal world. But I know sometimes myself included. You don't have as much time you want to perfect your speech or have everything nailed down time-wise where you are. So that's one thing that I would definitely suggest. And last but not least, to challenge yourself, let us know as an audience. Perhaps you could let the evaluator know, or in your introduction, let the audience know who you want them to be. Because the speech called for presenting to an unfamiliar. Some are familiar, and this, I think, said focus on unfamiliar. And you did, because we didn't know a lot. Some people didn't know a lot about solar power and panels. So perhaps you could let the evaluator know, or right from the get-go, let the audience know who you want them to be so they can put their in that frame of mind. And last but not least, the second thing to challenge yourself, related to the speech closing, I would have liked to have heard you reiterate perhaps some of the advantages, something to encourage us to look more into solar. And then definitely close with that the song, Here Comes the Sun. Overall, Mike, challenge yourself. I hope you use some of the suggestions to make this good speech even a better speech. Madam Toastmaster, Maggie, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm going to grow before the next time. It's going to happen. I promise. Okay. Is that I will become an AI me. So I would like to call upon our last evaluator. And I would also like to thank the person who brought the cookies over there. If you haven't got one, chocolate chip cookies. And at the same time, I would like to ask Mary Carvanero to come and evaluate Gerald Stevens.
Give me credit because I made those cookies and they were for a Toastmaster event. And he had them in her freezer for a long time. I texted her, we talked at volleyball about this last night. So, Dr. Gerald, you did a very good speech. You used pictures for everybody's interest. You know your facts about national parks. You really did good without notes. You know bird facts. You excelled on your humor to get everyone laughing at one point. You excelled at your theme knowing national parks. You engaged your audience with the topic. You were very relaxed at the lectern and you pulled it aside at some points. You used a lot of tone and your time was very good, but you almost went over with the buffer. You might want to work on emailing Len or Mark pictures just so everybody in Zoomland can see. You might want to work on your eye contact. And you know what? You should have included a song because Maggie and Mike included a song and I was expecting a song from you. At the end of the beginning of your speech. And Marty brought up a very good point. We should have been tourists or something because you were talking about national parks. You should challenge yourself on doing a different speech about another national park because you know a lot of national parks and you explore. You might want to challenge yourself by adding more pictures and sending them to the tech team. And you did a very good job at everything. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Mary. And thank you for the cookies. I didn't know who brought them, but we have a baking team in this club, and it's a very fun thing to be a part of. If anybody wants to bake, Mary loves to bake. I could, and maybe I will ask ask for reports now, or I could call up our general evaluator after I say a few words, of course. But I think I'll do it in the way that I wrote it on the agenda. Let's just follow my agenda. Somewhere during all these, I think we should do a timers report. I think I should invite Kate up to evaluate and to lead the meeting. Can we have a timers report, please?
Yes. Les came in at 2 minutes and Mary at 2 minutes, 1 second. Marty did go over slightly at 3:33. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much. Sometimes we just need to hear it all, even if they go over. I've said that before. I've listened to some amazing speeches when people go over, and I needed to hear it all. Somewhere during all these summer projects, I became fascinated with the idea of installing a pool. Not for swimming, for sitting beside. Research suggests that simply being near water helps reduce stress and increase happiness. Maybe that's why we love lakes, rivers, beaches, and cottages. Sometimes we need reminders to slow down and enjoy the moment. To help us reflect on the entire meeting experience, please welcome our general evaluator, Kate Orr. Well, I'm sure is going to tell us it was tickety-boo.
Did you say you're sure I'm going to tell you it's tickety-boo? I feel so tall. Raise your hand if you've heard that term, ticky-boo or tickety-boo or any variation of that term. That's a new one. I love it. We can also create language here at Toastmasters. This might be too tall. Wow, this is, goodness gracious. Les, I don't know how you do it, or Gerald, or any of the rest of you. Did this add about a foot? So now I'm 6 feet tall. This is great. Okay, firstly, is the potluck clipboard still going around? Has everyone in the room seen that? Has anyone didn't come to this table yet? All right then. Thank you, Sylvia, for putting that back there. It's coming around. I appreciate everyone. And thank you very much for Mary for baking. Let me clarify. Maggie mentioned it and Mary mentioned it. Some time ago, Mary kindly baked cookies for a contest when we arrived. They had lots of food already, so we decided to save them for a meeting day at some point, and today's the day. So take a chocolate chip cookie on your way out. They are lovely. And I very much enjoyed today's meeting. Thank you, Maggie, for your way with words. I think as a wordsmith, you excel. You know, I know you do. I don't just think you do. And that brings such not formality. I need to work on my language. We all do. I think that brings this sensibility to us. And even that you prepared in advance and wrote different introductions for the different sections of our day is masterful, and we all can learn from that. Such a timely theme. And thank you for reaching out to everyone and then rolling with the punches when folks who confirmed couldn't be here. Our table topics master, Sylvia, excellent questions and table topic sessions to round out the theme and get us launched into the rest of the meeting. Our three evaluators were very strong today. Marty, you are so skilled at commanding a lectern. You just have that sense. I know it has taken time. Since I've known you, you've been good at it. And I wonder how much of it you were born with and how much Toastmasters has brought to you. I think you have excellent and balanced gestures. You gave a clear overview and strong suggestions, and your voice and your poise always bring us something strong. The only suggestion, of course, is that you went over time at 333. Maybe go play the lotto today at 333. And we have to be strict as a double DTM, right? You are a double DTM, Distinguished Toastmaster. Maybe someone newer we would have given a little leeway. Mary, you are someone newer. May I ask you, Mary, do you remember how many times have you evaluated? Is this your fourth time? Strongest yet. wow, Mary. Our table said, wow, she's killing it. And you did. You gave such thorough suggestions, and no one at the table was assisting you. I know sometimes you say, please help me with timing, or whoever's next to me, can you help me? This is my first time doing this role. You were studiously taking notes. You were prepared with the printout when you arrived. You connected with Dr. Stevens beforehand and during with eye contact. And I know that's challenging for you. You really gave him eye contact and the whole audience, and you shared that. And thank you from the founder, David, starting a round of applause. I I also was thinking I would suggest, and I didn't say anything at my table, I would suggest to Gerald you could sing too, because we have such a trend starting with Maggie and Mike, and you like drama, and you used the word of the day. So good job there. And Les, did he leave? Is that why we rearranged the order? So he's already gone, but maybe he'll see the recording. Les today did something I don't always see with him. And I think because he and Margot are both DTMs, Distinguished Toastmasters, they have a strong rapport over their time as members. And he definitely demonstrated that today. I feel like I'm almost as tall as Les now if I'm standing like this. And he used excellent language, next level, off the Richter scale. He gave so much, I think, to Margot, who is, an excellent speaker, it's challenging to evaluate, and had that connection and trust that he could give suggestions at the same time elevate her and explain how good her speech was and effective, and that those of us on the officer team plus all of our members, we're taking notes, we're listening, we want to grow also. That is an excellent showcase of the Lions Club growth. And at first I thought you might say, oh, they're shrinking, a lot of organizations are shrinking. So bravo to you and all your hard work to make that happen, and the service that the Lions Club does, Margot, we appreciate so much. I think one drawback from Les today was that his personal word of the day was incredible, incredible, incredible. I think he said it 5 times. I'm not sure. I might have stopped counting. And I mean, let's face it, Margot and her speaking are incredible. I know he could have used other words to share more of his opinion of Margot's speech. I think that's enough. We're on time. The only suggestion I might have is lead us in a toast, Maggie, and I'll kick it back to you, unless you want me to lead reports. I'm sure you're quite capable.
Yeah. I have a little talkie I want to do before I ask for the reports, tell you who won the contests, and hand out the money. You know, as I was thinking about this theme, I remembered, and I mentioned this earlier, something that someone once told me. Parents only get about 14 summers with their children before friends, interests, activities, and adulthood begin to take over. Whether that number is exactly right isn't what's important. The point is that summers are limited. We only get so many. And when I think about my favorite summers, I don't remember the weeding. I don't remember the canning. I don't remember building fences to keep deer out of the tomatoes. I remember the campfires, the sunsets, the meals shared with family, the laughter, and the time spent beside the water. Not necessarily in the water. I'm not a big in the water person. I'm a big beside the water person. So yes, plant the garden, grow the tomatoes, start the projects, but don't forget to enjoy the summer while you're living in it. Before we know it, the harvest is finished, the leaves are changing around the lake, and another summer has slipped away. I would like to now call upon our roll holders to give us their evaluations of the meeting. And I will start with our word master, who I think by default has become Bridget. Bridget Newton. Bridget Newton on the spot.
just gonna straddle the step stool here and so the word of the day, tickety boo. I would also add to that definition, it's a Scots word, a Scottish word. Yes, it's a real word. Yes, I actually had looked it up myself it wasn't just a word that Maggie and I had created one day. It actually is a word. So tickety boo was a really great word today. Pretty much everyone used it. The evaluators did not, but I'm going to use it. This has been a tickety boo morning, and that's it. Thank you. Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Bridget, for stepping in. I am wondering about our original word master. I hope everything's okay. We're thinking about you guys. So after the word master, I will call up or I don't need to call them up. I will ask for our master's report, David Jones.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. I'll tell you who was clean. We had Darcy, Zach, Larry, Mary, Les, and Marty. I'll give him a fairly clean. I think when he does his filler words, he lowers his voice because he knows he shouldn't be using them, but he still slips it in there. So I let him go on that one. As far as our evaluators go, did I mention Mary was clean because she spoke twice and she was clean both times. Our speakers, I found it interesting. Mike Florio and Gerald Stevens both were clean while they were on script. Both of them went off script, and when they went off script, the filler words really started to pile up. And Margot was clean, except I noticed a common word she would use was now. She would start a sentence with now. Other than that, everybody did pretty good. We had a few so's. Of course, Maggie, you had the most, but you were on stage the most, and therefore you had quite a few fillers. Thank you.
No matter how many filler words I had, it must have been less than I had the last time. Okay, I would like to ask now I see Darcy wants to come up, so I'm going to call Darcy up next. Darcy, our grammarian. We have reverb here. Oh, got it? Okay.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. I was after the master in the beginning, so I thought we'd go in the same order. So you all did tickety boo, and as Mary would say, you all did good. And given that, I'm just going to give a few. I'm just going to give a few phrases that I liked today. Phil said, "Put your hearing ears on." Maggie says, "Success depends upon how well you adapt." Larry, "Animal proof your garden." Maggie, "Growth begins with small ideas." I liked Mike's "curl up in a ball" because I can definitely relate to that one. When I'm feeling pretty low, I just want to curl up in a ball. And I'm all for solar, but why do we have to put it on farmland? Could we not put it on farmland? Gerald, "It is what it is." I loved Margot's "we serve." I love that. We should all have that mindset, no matter what we do. And she also said R&D, rip off and duplicate instead of research and development. And I'm going to end with, as Mike Florio says, "I've made light. I hope you all go out into the world today and make light." Madam Toastmaster.
Here I am, way down here. Enough of the short shows. Okay, I'm going to call upon our quiz master to see if you've all been listening. I will be standing by, Phil, and I will be saying what you say or what they say so that you can hear it.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. More than once. We have a lot of reverb going on.
How about now?
Perfect. Thank you.
Is that better?
Yes, it's better.
All right. Thank you much. Now, some questions. Mike Licata, what were the chests about?
Retirement.
Good. Now, you answered the question for me. People answered it already. I started off with, what does tickety-boo mean? I looked it up myself, and somebody said, or one of the things said, it came from Hindi, first off. Now, Larry, where is he?
Larry's at his camp in Akron.
There you go. Beth, what two things does she like to do in the summer?
Gardening and swimming, says
Oh, you
Bridget.
got it.
And Mike is swimming in the room.
Now, Maggie, you can't answer this.
Okay.
How many little sweet tomatoes does Maggie have?
12. Although I have millions, sweet millions, as
Sweet
Gerald
millions.
says, I have 12
That's
tomato
right.
plants.
Sweet millions. Dr. Stevens, what did he tear to keep him from having a so enjoyable time on his trips?
Dave Licata right there with ACL, and I've torn mine, so I have a lot of empathy.
Now, Margot said, what does she do with the Barker Lions to improve membership?
Dave says she has an elevator speech. Bridget says she wears her pin upside down. Gerald says
Apparel.
they wear
Apparel.
matching clothes, apparel, hats.
Yes.
They're just flying out of here with the ideas are just hitting me in the face.
Yes, and I'm wearing my apparel today. Have a tickety-boo day.
Thank you very much, Bill Russell. So before I call the winners and call the winner of the pot, I'd like to ask if are any more announcements. You know who has an announcement? Anybody guess who has an announcement? No, Marty does not have an announcement. I know, good, right? Thank you. Recap for our Zoom joiners today about the potluck picnic and the sign up so far. I did say check your emails, folks. This was in your email last week. Reminder, Mary is highly allergic to nuts, so this is a nut-free party. No peanut butter desserts, etc., please. And check the ingredients, peanut oil, etc. We have still a need for it to go along with the ribs. This was a highly coordinated and menu worked out by Joe and Eric and Mary. Bravo. And folks have taken a lot of these options. So what is still available for anybody on Zoom, you could tell me or text me. We still are looking for cornbread, coleslaw, a veggie tray, and someone to sign up for condiments, barbecue sauce, mustard, ketchup, someone to sign up for paper plates and cups, and someone to sign up for napkins and cutlery. Keep me posted, and that is all I have to announce right now. So thank you much. Sorry. I don't know how much ketchup, mustard, and relish we're going to need with ribs. Don't bring too much. If you got some in your fridge, just bring that much. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and give a little announcement of my own. This week, I volunteered. We know what that means in Toastmasters. I volunteered to become your area director. There you go. How did that happen, Dave Licata? From you asking me. Okay. Well, this will come as no surprise today that the winner of the Best Evaluator Award, and I'm really proud, I'm going to cry actually, I think she just did such a bang up job, is Mary Cavanero. Congratulations. Would you like to say something?
No, this is Dr. Gerald's second evaluation that I did in second.
There you go. Second time's a charm. Congratulations, Mary. Well done. Our best, excuse me, our best table topic is Jim Sacco. Bravo, indeed. Bravo. We loved hearing about your daughter's weddings. Congratulations, Daddy.
Thank you.
And our best speaker and the person who will draw to see who wins the money. Did I get that loud enough for you, Lynn? Yeah. Is Mike Florio.
You're gonna cry, Maggie.
Yeah, okay.
You might have to help me see that.
I actually did cry a bit when Jim gave his speech and he said about his grandpa or his dad. Yeah.
You have your goggles?
Oh yeah, I
oh,
do.
It's Gretzky.
Yeah, okay, I got my.
$2.99.
That's right. $2.99.
That's man. Good man, huh?
I have something to say, and since I didn't get to speak yet. Okay, first I thought this was a made-up word, and then I thought to myself, if somebody made up this word, here's what it would mean to me. You know, when you're going to a sporting event or a concert and there's a big long lineup, a whole big tickety-boo to get in the event? That's what it is.
You know, my Canadian, I mean, and Celtic roots, if it is Celtic, then that would make sense for Canada. And if it is Hindi, well, you know what? That makes sense for Canada too. Okay, so if there's nothing else, Marty's going to come up and do his business.
Thank you, Maggie.
Thank you.
Thank you, Maggie. Well, everything's just tickety-boo today. And before I lay the gavel down, I just have two announcements. The first is, many of you realize we're doing well in our quest for Distinguished Club Program status in the Distinguished Club Program. And I'm one, and I'm sure many of you are also, as an achiever, sometimes an overachiever. And as VP of membership, I strongly advise you to reach out to any friends, family, coworkers that you think could benefit from Toastmasters and invite them, because our program year ends at the end of this month. David? Well, that segue into that is Christine Skirdo. I'm not going to count my chickens before they're hatched. She said she was going to bring a check. She's not here today, so we'll have to wait and see what happens. So I'm going to reach out to her after the meeting and find out. So with that said, the more we can get a couple more, that's great. I'm going to keep looking. And last but not least, next week's schedule, Gerald's Toastmaster of the Day. He graciously and DTM provided us with a theme already: motivational movies / TV. Speakers Jill, Kate, Nancy, alternate speaker Joe. Declare this meeting adjourned. Have a great day. Thank you, everyone.